Hello everyone, welcome to the Launch Week. And today's star is Mr. Aniket Agarwal, who has been working on some cool things around metrics and SigNoz. So welcome Aniket, welcome to the Launch Week.
Hey, hi Ankit. It's good to be here.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Cool. So tell me about a brief about like what is a cool thing that you are building today.
So we are building a user interactive interface for the users to search, analyze, and view their metrics. Currently, there is a currently whenever a user onboards to our platform and wants to create dashboards, they it's a tool that will help you in creating dashboards, but it will also help you in exploring your metrics regarding their different labels, attributes, how your metrics is getting pushed to SigNoz, how frequent your metrics is getting pushed to SigNoz. So
Got it. So it would be fine to say that when a user starts sending matrices to SigNoz, a user can come to the feature that we are going to talk about and see what are the metrics that they are sending, how frequent are they, what are the labels associated with that, and they can run some ad hoc queries on top of it.
yeah, it's basically things around that only.
Got it. Super interesting. Would love to know what intrigued you to build out this feature and how, what are the use cases that you saw your customers with, and like, what are the things behind it?
Uh, so there was a different requirements from our customers in which they want to see how many time series, how many attributes or how many labels are associated with their metrics. They want to edit their metrics metadata and they want to see whole view regarding what type of metrics they are sending and how different metrics are contributing to the ingestion pipelines in the SigNoz. So this gives us the idea to give them an explorer kind of a page in which they can play around with the metrics.
Got it. And it would also make sense for them to come to this Explorer pages from the alerts, right?
Yeah, matlab, so for example, whenever you get an alert and it's an unknown alert for you, so you can get redirected to the Metrics Explorer page and see how your metrics has performed in past so that you get paged by that alert. So you can play around with that to see what was your the exact pinpoint of the problem in that's why for what you got the alert. So
Got it. So let us going back a step and trying to understand more. Like, can you give us an example for for an early user? What is the type? What is a metric? What are its types? And what do we usually do with metrics?
Matrix is basically a health pulse of your system. If you can see, it's like a monitor for your system in which it continuously sends health data about your system, and you can see how how your system performed in past time series. And you can see various things from the metrics like how your memory has performed, how many HTTP requests have been there in the system from using different time series. There are basically 5 to 6 types of metrics that we have. Currently, SigNoz supports n number of metric types: sum, watches, counter, exponential histograms, summaries. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm super stoked to see what we are going to show in the demo. Why not we just jump into the demo and talk about more use cases there?
Cool. I'll share my screen and let's get on with it. So, if you can see my screen, this is the basic metrics explorer page. You can come here from metrics. You can see the summary view of all of your metrics. So it has been divided into three sections: the search, proportion view, and the list view.
Mhm.
Let's get into one by one. So proportion view will give you the whole idea of how much and how many metrics you are sending into a system, and as
Mhm.
well as how each metrics is contributing in the ingestion pipelines. So
Okay.
for example, there are different metrics and they are contributing. So if you can see, KTS node condition is a metric and that is contributing to 1% of total samples that have been present. You can
Okay.
also see on the basis of
Just
time.
to give us a brief background, like what do you think is the difference between samples and time series?
So a sample is a unit in which it sends, for example, in a minute, a matrix will send 4 samples, but a metric will have different labels. For example, system memory usage.
Hmm.
Your system have 8 pods, and all the 8 pods are sending system memory usage. So that matrix will have 8 time series, but it will have one sample for a specific interval of time. So for example, if it is sending 15, if it is sending samples at a rate of 15 seconds, so in the 1 minute you will have 4 samples, but with 8 time series, because you have 8 pods that is
Got
sending
it.
the system memory usage.
Got it. So in total, we'll have 8 time series into 4 per minute. So 32
32
samples
will be,
per
32 would be your total samples. And
32 samples per minute for 8 time series, right?
yeah, for metric, you will
Got
get
it.
32 samples. It's a very,
Got it. Got it.
yeah.
Thank you.
So as I was saying, in the proportion view, you will get the contribution of each on the basis of samples and time series. So like KAD spot status reason is contributing to around 1.03% the total time series that I have. Now, there's also a list view that will help the users to get the details about their metrics. For example, KAD node condition is a metrics that have a description. Matlab, for example, if I come to a platform and I want to know what is KTS node condition, so it will give me a description, will give me a broad idea. Ki this metric is about the condition of a particular node. How my nodes are, well, how the what are the conditions of a particular node. For example, HTTP server duration bucket. It's regarding the duration of inbound of HTTP request. Matlab, it measures the duration of inbound HTTP request, and the type is histogram here, and unit is millisecond. Number of samples is 19.90.2k in last 30 minutes, and
Okay.
2 to 24 time series. You can adjust the time on the basis here. So for example, if you want to see in the last 6 hours, so
Mhm.
you can see.
Got it. Got it. Can you give me some idea about like what would a user, uh, once this lands in this page, what would they want to do, or what information they can get from this page?
So for example, user can see how many metrics are there. User can search around different metrics. User can see, for example, I want to see what metrics my host is sending. So for this host ID, I want to see how many metrics are sending from this host ID. I can see around this. So
Interesting.
this
So
host,
we will get an idea about how many samples, how many time series do a certain kind of resource of mine emits, right? So that we can apply some filters to either reduce sample or drop it altogether.
yeah, you can also search on the basis of service name key which services are sending these matrices. So like for example, my load RabbitMQ service, what metrics these are sending, so I can get a
Very
lot.
interesting. Got it. Got it. Cool.
And yeah,
And what can we like? Is there any detail to what we are seeing here?
so for example, once you located what metrics you want to see, what matlab, for example, you want to create a dashboard around memory, so uh, you get into that key. I got the specific metrics that needs to be created around that needs to be selected for that specific dashboard for my requirement. Then I can deep down into that specific metrics and see. For example, I have selected this matrix, so it has around 235 millions plus samples. It has around 10.9k total time series in which 3k is active. We also have a last received section to check ki what was the last time this matrix has given me some samples, so that you can filter out those metrics which are dead to you. So you can check
Got it.
ki whether this system is sending me metrics or not. Whether
Right. So I think this will be very much used by um like the teams who are getting onboarded to the system. Like I'm very curious when I added some instrumentation recently and I want to see if that metrics is coming into SigNoz or not, right?
yeah. For example, you have added an AWS integration and want to see which of the matrices are sent by them. Then you can see here ki what was the last receive time for them. And you can also see the metadata of the matrix, like the gauge. The metric type is gauge, and the description of that specific matrix, unit, and the temporality. The good thing about is that you can also edit it.
Okay.
So you can edit your description according to your teams. For
Okay.
example, there might be a complex description, but your team doesn't understand it, so you can change that
Mm-hmm.
description. You can change the
Nice.
temporality. You can set the unit here. Ki, for example, you want to change into milliseconds to second. Matlab, yeah. And you can also change the metric types. So there are some integrations in which they sends the wrong metric types or SigNoz. So you can change it here. So it will help us into get your data much more great. So like for example, there are some integrations which will send the metric type as gauge, but you know that metric type is a counter. So
Got it,
yeah.
got it. I recently had such interaction with some open source tool which were sending the metrics data incorrectly, and like we got a hard time in making things work at the product level. Yeah, so I think that is a fantastic use case where we can uh, take into account the glitches into collection system of other systems, right? And we can make it better at our place.
So Mela, basically each integration have some glitches so that you can correct those glitches here. And you have one more section in which you can see what are the attributes currently
Mhm.
associated with your matrix. So for
Got it.
example, uh, this matrix has different pods and these are the UIDs of that pod, these are the server addresses, things like that. For example, this matrix is shared by 3 hosts, so you can see the which, so let's say there is a matrix that is shared by all of your hosts. Now you are able to see only 3 of the hosts here, so there might be
Mhm.
some problem with
Mm,
remaining hosts.
right, right. So there might be some issue that the host is not able to export metrics due to some configuration or other problems that we might this might help to debug, right?
Yes.
Got it. Awesome work. What else we got there? I see an Explorer page there. Do you want to walk through it, or like we still have to talk about this?
Yes, let's get to the Explorer page, Ankit. So
Awesome.
Explorer page is just like your rough book before creating a dashboard or whenever you want to create an ad hoc query. So going to directly jumping into the dashboards is not a good thing. For example, I just want to see what is my system memory or what is my current HTTP request that I'm getting, what is my server load, how
Mhm.
many API calls have been fired to me. So I don't want to create, don't want to go into dashboards every time. So this is the thing for those guys who wants to just run ad hoc queries or get a playground for them. It's just like
Got
that.
it.
So you can create your metrics. For example, let's start with HTTP server active request. So you can select your metrics here. You can filter out on the basis of different. Let's filter out on the basis of service name. Let's select the service name. Let's card service and let's select. Okay. And where are we on the service name? So we selected the card service, and yes, you can see your metrics here. You can play around with it. You can uh, group by on the basis of different host. And there is one more unique thing that we have added is you can also create multiple queries and compare them side by side. So for
Okay.
example, I want to compare my server request duration with system memory. Okay, how my memory usage is getting affected with how much my server request duration is. So I can see here for a specific, yeah. So what we can do is you can create one chart per query and you can compare them side by side.
Interesting. So this enables a fantastic use case I like when I'm trying to investigate something, when I come from alerts, I landed up with a chart. I can check out if I got an alert that my service is affected and is sending out high throughput or latency, then I can check out like how does the system memory look like in that node or that pod, and if both of them correlate or not, right?
It's basically regarding one chart per query is how your metrics are correlated to each other so that you can exactly pinpoint your alerts or your what's wrong in your system.
Super interesting according to me.
Yes.
Cool. I would, if you are done with the demo or if you have anything to share, otherwise I would love to dive in into what are the engineering and product decisions that went behind the scenes, because like I assume a lot of things must be happening before releasing this feature. So I was curious to know more about that.
Good product decision that we took was regarding the proportion view. Like we wanted to, in one look, we wanted to give the user a view in which they can only see the matrix, only see their data of their
If
matrix.
we are fine, like we can stop sharing the screen and talk more about like
Sure, sure,
on
sure.
face. Right. Cool.
So
Yes.
if you have seen the proportion view, uh, so I wanted to give the user a whole look in which they can see how their data is distributed and which metrics is taking that time. So that was a good product decision that I took, is like on the basis of that tree map that we have given.
Got it.
Regarding that engineering decision, it was like we were working on 2 to 3 billions of data for per tenant. Per client, there was like 3 to 4 billions of data, just samples data. And there were clients like which have more than 1 million time series, 1 billion time series. So the chunk of the data we have been working on, it was quite interesting for us. So yeah,
Good. So you must have gone through a lot of brainstorming sessions to figure out like how it is going to
brains
run on a billions of data points per day, right?
brainstorming sessions was gone into the to create those queries so that my users doesn't get a lag when they are searching. So for example, when you get an alert, you have a very high mental state, you want to
Mm,
resolve those alert fast and as fast as possible. So I
right.
don't want my platform to be a burden for you in that time. So my brainstorming session was on that queries so that I that data can be extracted as fast as possible.
Very cool that we have kept some user requirements in mind when building this feature and like how they would have perceived the system when something is breaking in their own systems, right? That is cool. It would be very interesting to learn what more things we have planned, if anything new is upcoming, and should like would get the user more excited about what things are coming next here.
Two major things that I am very excited to share with the users are the related metrics and the inspect metrics. So related metrics is it would be the part of the explorer section in which user will see which metrics are related to the specific metrics that they have selected in their query. So for
Okay.
example, if you have come to my platform from the alerts, let's say you got an alert that your memory has been spiked. Now, in that specific resource context, you have selected a system memory usage as a metric and you want to see what are the related metrics around with. So it will suggest you that system memory usage might have been spiked due to high load in the HTTP server, or it might be due to some other DB calls that have been choked your system. So it will give you all the related metrics around that,
Got
around
it.
that memory usage. So you can
That's
debug that.
dope.
You so you
Yeah.
so you can
So
debug.
rather than doing hit and trial and seeing the charts
Uh,
nearby, like we'll get some suggested little list of related attributes and metrics, right?
we want to create a roadmap for you so that you can pinpoint the exact location of your problem. So whenever you're getting a error, you don't have to worry. You just have to come to the Metrics Explorer page.
It's very fantastic. Uh,
And one more thing that I want to discuss is the inspect metrics. It's basically for those newbie users. Well, we
mm,
have all kind of users, and
mm,
these are for those newbie users who wants to see how metrics are work and how they can create dashboards. So there are features like aggregations, there are space aggregation, time aggregations, different time series samples, concepts like that are very new to some of the users that wanted to use our platform.
right, right, right.
So I want to provide the feature so that they can see what these things are and they can play around with space aggregation and time aggregation. They can inspect a matrix and how varied its time series are. So that's what
Nice.
Inspect
So,
Matrix
like,
is.
I also like remember like when we first build out the full-fledged metrics in the dashboards, like I was struggling to understand like what is this aggregation doing? Was it spatial aggregation? Was it temporal aggregation? Where is the function? What does it do? Right. So I used to regularly refer to the docs and try to play around with the data on my own. Right.
It will give you a step by step guide of creating a dashboard.
Okay.
So you don't have to
Nice.
worry about that.
Awesome. So, folks, we have a lot of more exciting things coming up in our metrics product, and hopefully, we'll have someone again from the SigNoz thing in a couple of months when we have these features out to talk more about the exciting stuff that we just got a glimpse about. Um, and any closing comments, Aniket, from you to the end users and to the customers that we have?
Just want to ask all the customers to play around with our Metrics Explorer and help us in building that much greater product. So that's it.
Got it. Awesome. So, folks, feel free to drop us on email or Slack community or into the GitHub issues, and we can reach out to Aniket to help others, each others out in building this feature as a more fledged feature, and that it really helps the end user, right? And so far, so good for this. We'll meet you another time, another day for another launch week product. See you. Bye bye. Take care, everyone.